A warning before you listen.
What you are about to hear is not meant for children, nor for the faint of heart. This is an unfiltered retelling of ancient myths, told as they were born, raw, violent, unsoftened. Expect scenes of brutality, curses that linger, betrayals that reshape fate, and a hunger for power that shows no mercy. These myths were never meant to lull children to sleep. They were forged in blood, shadow, and fire. So ask yourself, are you ready to hear them as they were first told? Sources and references can be found in the episode description.
Chapter 5, from the Epic Zeus, the Lastborn and the Revolt of Fate. The idea of tyranny, when stone trembled at a glance. He sat alone, barefoot at the cave's mouth, legs stretched over stone still warm with the ghosts of the unburied. The silence around him wasn't peace. It was the hush that precedes a scream, a breath held, waiting for something to be born from the eyes. The rock before him was not just a rock. It was a tombstone, one still waiting for a name. And Zeus wasn't merely looking at it. He was staring through it, into the bones of the earth itself. He wasn't a child lost in thought. He was a prophecy curled inside a small frame, ready to detonate. In his chest there was no milk, only embers, glowing and cooling in turns, asking in silence, "Why me? Why wasn't I swallowed with the others? Was I stronger? Or was I simply late to the slaughter?" These weren't questions for comfort, not even for answers. They were hammers, swinging against the first god burned into his memory. He didn't see Cronus as a father. He saw him as a pit, a void that devoured time and still wanted more. He didn't want to remember his face. He wanted to sever it from memory, from the neck. That's when Amalthea approached, silent, like someone walking across a minefield made of history. She sat beside him, stretched her neck as she did whenever danger crept near, and spoke with a voice that only those who fed on milk mixed with tears could hear. "I was there when your siblings were torn from their mother's breast. I was there when Demeter's scream was smothered, as they dragged her like a lamb into the hungry mouth." Zeus didn't look at her. He didn't need to. His face had become the mirror that reflected them all. She said, "They didn't die. They're still inside him, trapped in a time that refuses to digest them. Inside his belly they wait for one thing, someone born different. Someone who doesn't weep, but screams loud enough to shatter the scale itself." He asked, "Why didn't they fight?" She replied, "Because they didn't know anyone would come after them." He asked, "And me?" She said, "You don't belong to them, or to what came before. You belong only to yourself." The silence that followed wasn't the stillness of peace. It was the birth of a thought, the first spark of rebellion. Zeus was no longer searching for his past. He was hunting for his beginning, a place from which he could rise to a ceiling that had never been cracked before. Inside him, the vision formed. No fire, no thunder, just the image of falling, a god torn from his throne, not with prayer, but with the violence of a womb rupturing against time itself. That night, Zeus didn't sleep. He watched Amalthea rest, like a swing suspended between two ages, and he wondered, does she fear I'm the beginning or the end? Was she raising me to hide the danger or to become it? Then he turned to the wall and whispered without moving his lips, "I want the stone to see me, to tremble when it sees me, to know I've come to bring them all back." At the next dawn, the air was still, but every stone in the cave was staring at Zeus. They didn't know why, but they were afraid. This chapter of the epic has come to an end, but remember, What you've just heard is not a record of facts, but the echo of a myth, a story born from the imagination of the ancients, etched into the long memory of humankind. If this tale stirred something in you, if it opened a door to reflection or wonder, don't forget to support the channel and share the journey with those you love. And in the comments, tell us, which moment in this chapter struck you the most and why? We'll meet again in the next chapter of this audio odyssey through time. Until then, farewell.